Hi, Alec.
Hey,
This is On the Millennial Mind. So tell me, how, what is the right way for gaming?
well, you'd have to delve yourself into the world.
The environment of the game.
Yes,
Okay.
the universe.
Uh-huh.
You have to recognize that everything in that world is just as real as things are in this world. And you have to take that to heart. You have to experience the game through the lens of the character or yourself projected through the avatar. That way you could get the most out of the experience in, say, an RPG or a action adventure or any game that has a storyline or an environment or any kind of vibe. Because without taking the universe seriously, without letting yourself emotionally and mentally open to it, you miss a lot of what the game can inspire in you.
Well, taking the universe seriously, I think, is a key to how do you get immersed into that world.
Exactly.
What does it mean to take it seriously?
Well, the rules in that universe are different than the rules in this one.
Mm-hmm.
You have to trust the game to know the rules, and you have to be able to have a suspension of disbelief.
I call this don't argue with the universe.
Right.
It simply means the logic of that universe is the game itself. Those are the rules of the game.
Right.
I see a lot of people spending a lot of energy and time just being cynical about it, just angry about it, arguing about it, with no one, because there's no one to argue with.
Give me an example.
You know Zork.
Yes.
Have you played Zork?
I've played Zork.
Okay. That to me is the most elemental Zen-like game training tool.
All right, I can see that.
Because
for those who don't know, Zork is a text adventure.
Yeah, the first text adventure.
Is it the first? I know it's the definition of it.
Is the first
and I know
one?
It's
the first one I encountered.
The first one you encountered. Yeah. Okay, that's different.
But I think it's.
But it's definitely earned a name for itself. I think it's.
Let me put it this way.
The text adventure.
Yeah.
But is it the first?
Let me put it this way. When Zork was created, text adventure was complete. Everything that was made after that, including Zork 3 and 4, is just hubris. That didn't need to mess with that.
Did you purposefully skip Zork 2? Was
it
not even worth a mention?
Well, it's because I'm not sure if what I think is Zork 1 or Zork 2.
How do you not know?
I just don't know.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but
I've never even heard of a Zork 4.
What happens is that they added graphics
to
the game. Okay,
they refurbished it.
Yeah, and that was to make it
more appealing,
better, more appealing, to keep up with the other games.
Right. But the game itself is solid.
Well,
it doesn't need those graphics. And yeah, it can enhance a bit.
Yeah. Well, they wanted to get
it
rid
makes
of
it more appealing.
They wanted to get rid of the, okay, this is pre-artificial intelligence, right? And so all you have is a blank screen and a prompter, just that triangle line that tells you have to input text, right? And it
right.
tells you
I would call it a command bar.
The command, yeah, the command bar, and it just tells you where you are. It just tells you you're in front of a White House, and there is to the north, and there is a mailbox to your left or something.
Right.
And that's it. You move, right?
Right.
And then just
you're dropped straight into the center there. And the thing is that one, you don't know the universe yet. All you know is that you're standing in front of a house and there's a mailbox there.
Yeah.
You don't even know how to do anything. So the first thing, you don't. It doesn't tell you.
We were talking about Journey last time, right?
Right.
And this is just like Journey, but in hell, because it doesn't tell you anything, no tutorials. But it's a nightmare.
Technically, it does have the bare minimum of a tutorial.
Journey.
Both Journey and Zork.
Zork? What does Zork do?
It tells you if you need help, put in the command help.
Oh, it does tell you that?
It does tell you that.
Ah, that would have been much easier. Yeah, then you put help and it says, help what?
Yeah, but that already tells you, hey, you need to type out what you want to do.
Yeah.
And you need to make it perfectly clear.
Yeah.
What you need to do.
And then after that
it's the absolute bare minimum, but there is a tiny silver of a tutorial.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The simplicity of it is what's astonishing.
The simplicity of it is what makes it so difficult.
It's what makes it so difficult. And the fact that you have to adapt the language that you have been using in this in our universe. You have to adapt it to the universe of Zork.
Exactly. That's why I said that you don't know the rules of the game yet. It doesn't tell you.
It doesn't tell you.
It just gives you help, which is a hint to what the rules of the game are.
Yeah, so you
the rules of the universe.
You start with, tell me what's in the mailbox. I don't understand. Tell me what's in the mailbox.
Yeah.
Well, what is in the mailbox? What mailbox? Where am I? You are in front of you're on a path. There is a house to the north, and there is a mailbox.
Take mail. What mail?
Take mail. What mail? The mail in the mailbox. I don't understand the mail in the mailbox. And and it keeps telling you that there is a mailbox.
Right.
And then you say, well, take mailbox. How are you going to do that?
Right.
Or no, you basically have to say open mailbox. And then open. Boom, you feel like a champion. Now you're
right.
Oh,
because
shit, something happened.
Now you understand the language of the game. Now you understand a little bit more about the rules of the universe. It took me a lot more than
that to understand it, the language of the game.
Well, you understand a little piece of it. Now you know that it takes things incredibly literally.
Yeah.
And you also have to spell out every single action. You can't just take the mail from the mailbox. You have to open the mailbox, take the mail, and then open the mail, and then read it.
Yeah. So I have played this game many times, and I have played it with others. Right? There is an intensive we have. It's like it's like training in the hell dimension where we just bunker down for a couple of days in a house. We block out all the light. We cover all the windows, all the doors, right? And nobody leaves. And so there's just the computer where one person reads what it says, and then the group decides what's going to be done.
Right.
Okay. So
That's pretty intense. You do that for a few days straight?
Yeah. Well, what I've done with this is change the circadian cycle so that we are playing for 6 hours, we sleep for 2 or 3 hours, play for another 4 hours, and so on.
Okay.
And because we don't see the light, it seems like we've been there for a week or two.
You took a game and you changed it into an intense what do you call it? An intense training session.
Yeah, because the boot camp of the spirit.
Right. This isn't like just playing for fun, and this isn't playing for meditation. This is sitting naked under a freezing waterfall for 24 hours type of training.
This is Navy SEAL training for gamers, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, one, I'm going to ask you several questions about this.
Go ahead.
Because I already know the answer because we've talked about this before, but for the audience, I have a couple of questions. First, what is the purpose of this boot camp, and why do you do it with video games? Two, what is the difference between arguing against the universe, questioning the universe, and pointing out a technical flaw in the hardware, like a glitch?
Yeah. Well, I can answer the first one, and I think that the second we will answer together too. The purpose was to train a group of seekers into shamanic voyaging. Okay. Because with shamanic training, you're going to be going into different worlds, and each world has its own set of laws, its own atmosphere, its own logic.
Right.
So Zork, I thought, provides the most clear vision of this.
Right.
I've used others like Diablo, as you know, and all that.
Right.
But this one offered a different opportunity. First, because it was not just one person and the computer. I had them work as a group, so all together, all of them formed the gamer, the player.
Right.
There were not 5 players; it was one player, composed of 5 different identities.
Right, and that's fascinating because you don't see that being taken advantage of in the core mechanics of games.
Exactly.
I
introduced that there.
You have player versus player.
Yeah.
You have co-op mode. And you have like team battles. But you don't have a co-op mode in the form of everybody controlling one player.
Yeah.
The only instance that I can think of that takes that actually isn't from a game, but it is, again, adapting a previous game and putting a new set of rules on top of it.
Yeah.
Twitch plays Pokemon. Have I told you about this?
I don't think so.
So, Twitch is a streaming site for pretty much anything, but a lot of Let's Players and gamers use it to show live while they're playing, right? And someone made Pokemon, the first game, Pokemon Blue, and made it so that the control can simultaneously be controlled by as many people as there are in the chat. And so each person would put in an input, and the chat would go at the speed of however many people are trying to move the character. And the character would move according to the general consensus.
Yes.
And
each person, each input is it's a line of force, right? And all together create one.
Right. And the fascinating thing is that nobody is like, it's not like a group of 5 people in the same room. This is worldwide.
Yeah.
In many different homes with no communication.
Right.
The only thing that you could communicate with is the buttons. Start, up, down, left, right, select, A, B. And the thing is that with so many people, because this has gone into the tens of thousands, putting an input at the exact same time.
Right. Right. All these vectors create one powerful vector. In this case, and it was the same idea, except that
yours is more controlled.
Well, yes, because I am directing something here.
Right.
And actually, I misspoke. It's not only I who introduced this. I should have said we introduced this. Originally, we played it with Juan Carlos, my friend, Juan Carlos Mendizábal. But the idea of creating an entity out of several came from the work of Gurdjieff, of Vijay Gold, and a few others who understood that every one of us has no single identity. We are composed of many personalities.
We did this in a very smaller, more casual form when I was a kid. You and Sochi would play in the same thing. You guys would switch off the control, and I was the researcher.
Yeah. What game was that we were playing?
Zelda.
That was Zelda.
Ocarina of Time.
Right. It was because, see, in ordinary life, there is one ego that says, I need to exercise, right? And so that I goes to the gym, signs a contract, right? Goes back home and says, okay, I'm going to exercise tomorrow. I'm going to get up at 7, meditate, shower, go to the gym. All right. And so go to bed, set up the alarm, and at 7, the alarm rings, and the one that wakes up is a completely different entity, right?
Because it goes, no, I'll do it tomorrow.
He says, what? Exercise? No, I want to sleep. Meditate? No, I have a comic book to finish.
The thing is that you haven't changed your mind. You still want to do it. But it is a different entity in the control of the body.
Yes, directing the movements of the body.
Right.
And that happens all the time, even in a game. You are on a mission and you're distracted by something else.
Right. Instead of going
to the shinies.
Instead of beating Ganondorf, you go and fishing instead for a few hours.
For days.
Days.
Till you forget what? Yeah. In this case, then, if I had 5 or 12 people, right? Everyone is a voice.
Right.
And the voices have egos and personalities. And one voice wants to be heard. Another voice doesn't want to say anything. Another voice is I'm so stupid, I don't understand what's going on. Another voice says, I know what to do, why can't they hear me. And so this louder voice just says, yeah, go left, go left. And the others are quiet. And so after a while of this chaos, they come to realize that, okay, we have to name one that will be the command voice.
Uh-huh.
And that one person is the one in the computer is going to listen to. So the one in the computer reads, right, where to go. And at first, the one in the computer was inputting whatever anybody was saying. Until they realized, wait, we were supposed to open the chest, the box. We're supposed to open the box. No, somebody said, let's go back to the old room. So they realized that all those voices were being filtered by one person.
Right.
The one at the computer. And this person at the computer is part of the entity that's playing the game too.
Right.
All right. So then they choose one and say, okay, so whatever so-and-so says, that's what we're going to do. So everybody discusses, yells, says, and then he picks one action, right? And that action is what is. So it goes until they learn to move as one, to go in a circle, and then one action is chosen. Sometimes they vote, sometimes they don't.
And that goes with the actions of the brain too.
That goes with the actions of the brain. And so my intent there was to have them all experience this unity of intent. Then there is the game, there is the universe that it's so hard to understand, right? And so arguing with the universe that I've noticed there will be some people that could not get into the game because every command was like, oh my God, this was written by a 20-year-old who couldn't get laid, and this I can see him in the basement of his house, and he's just he just doesn't understand anything about.
That's not even arguing with the game. That's arguing with the creator because you're so pissed. I wouldn't even call that arguing with the universe. I would just call that.
Yeah, well, to me,
I would just call that giving up on the universe.
Exactly.
It's not even arguing. It's not even arguing.
No, it's an extreme example, but it leads to that. And
right.
It leads to that in this life. When I stub my toe and I get angry at the wall. I have my klutzy moments where I'm holding one thing and everything drops down and I can't open the door. And I always remind myself, I can't argue with the universe. The laws are there. I'm just not getting them, not flowing with them.
Right. So then, at what point, let me ask you this. Is there a point where the people in this boot camp of yours, it's not arguing with the universe, but they are questioning the universe?
Well, yeah, there would be like, of course, it's laughable when you say take key, you have a key, open the door. What are you going to open the door with? The key. What key? And or when you say yeah, open the door. What door? And then it's telling you that there is a door. The thing is that the game makes a difference between a key being in front of you and you holding a key.
Right.
Or you having a key in a box and you having the key, right? So to you have a key in a box, you say, well, I use the key to open the door. But according to the game, you don't have the key because it's in the box.
You have the box, but you don't have the key
so
because
you have to
it's in the
take
box.
the key from the box and say, you can't. How are you going to do that? You have to open the box.
Right.
Get the key. Unlock the door.
Okay.
And then open the door.
Okay.
So it takes a while to get the logic, and you have to start thinking more like a programmer, more like a DOS programmer, to get to begin to converse with the world. So your mind has to adapt to the language of the universe, and and begin to do that. Now, when you see flaws, because there are logical flaws, but the logical flaw is in the language that we speak as humans.
All right.
The program itself follows the same machine logic. The language that we understand, I am not speaking the same language as the machine.
Right.
Okay. The machine is not speaking English either. The machine is speaking binary, zeros and ones, right?
Binary and code.
Yeah, that's all. And so the English, it's an approximation. It's like the machine is trying to come to my world a little bit, and I'm trying to get to its world a little bit. And that's where the logic seems to fail. And you can find those, but there is a difference. If you find a logical problem, I find it more effective to assume that the discrepancy is between in the language of the middle. But as right as I can be, that's not going to change its response. Right? I am the one who has to adapt, not the universe.
Right.
So no matter how angry I get, the universe won't change its law. And the shaman needs to know this through and through. The shaman has to completely forget himself or herself, its identity, its logic, everything, and just seek to merge with the logic and flow of that universe. We become dancers of the spirit, and that's the only way to move in some spaces.
So you stop arguing with the universe and start questioning the universe when you have let go of the anger in the situation and start trying to understand what the situation is trying to tell you.
Yeah. What are you missing? What are you not getting from it? That's questioning. See, you question by saying, what am I not getting? Or what about my input is the machine not understanding, right? Then you question. But you question yourself, you question the output, you question the interaction, all of that. But you question in order to gain understanding and fluidity.
Exactly.
You don't question to make it change, to make the universe change for you.
Right.
Because
the universe cannot change. You are not the creator.
Right. Right.
You are just an inhabitant.
Yeah. You're a visitor.
Now, I once had a conversation with a friend who admitted they don't understand people who get emotional over games.
Okay.
She said, I just don't get it. It's not real. Why would you get so emotional over something that isn't real? And I had a similar conversation with my mom, who, after I was telling an experience of the game with, she said, if it makes you feel so awful, why do you keep playing it? Why don't you just stop? And...
yeah, why?
Well, if you get scared while watching a scary movie, why don't you just stop watching it? If you get sad during a sad moment in a TV show, why don't you just stop? It's not real. Stop crying.
Well, for that matter,
why don't you turn it off?
Well, for that matter, then why do we ever fall in love? Why do we ever have friendships?
Exactly.
Why do we ever learn anything?
Exactly. The
Play
thing
any game.
is that the emotions that the video game provoke are just as important as those from any other kind of media and any other kind of experience.
Okay, so that I think you're drawing a very super important distinction. The the story of the game doesn't have the level of reality of our human interaction. Let's say that's what they're saying, right?
Right.
And yeah, that's one is created, the other one we find ourselves in the middle of it.
Right.
Okay, so they say this is more real, but
exactly.
what that simply means is I am a participant here,
and there is no way to turn that off.
No way to turn this off, and that you can turn off. But what you're saying is that my reactions to it are real as the ones I have in this world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the reason why it's good to subject yourself to those feelings in a game or in a show or in a movie, in any kind of quote unquote artificial sort of medium, instead of just letting your emotions only coincide with what is considered real life. The reason why it's so important to let yourself be vulnerable in those places and in those states is because it is a relatively safe environment to do so.
Relatively safe, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Depends who you're playing with.
Depends who you're playing with, depends how you're playing, but
yeah.
For the most part, it's a safe avenue. If someone, let me, if, say, you feel guilty for murder in a video game, that's safe. Because even though you did commit that act in that world, you did not do it in this world. You have a way to live through experiences that you otherwise wouldn't.
Right. And whether you felt guilty over killing in the game.
Right.
And that's okay.
Absolutely.
You can also feel a murderous glee at killing in the game. And that is equally safe.
Exactly.
There are no karmic consequences to that. In your world, there are karmic consequences in the game.
There's karmic consequences in the universe of the game, yes.
Good or bad.
But that doesn't transfer into this game that we're playing, known as real life.
You have a way of learning the depth and variety of emotions, of tendencies, of cruelty, of goodness, of evil, all of that, without harming others around you, without harming the environment.
Exactly.
You can release a virus that will destroy the world, and the quicker you do it, the faster the game is won.
Are you talking about Plague Inc.?
Yeah. I've never played it, but you are a mass murderer, man. Yeah. You are an unleashed demon in that world. But you don't do any of that here, I hope.
You hope.
I
don't.
So till next time, this is On the Millennial Mind, and this is Coyote the Blind.
And this is Alec.
And where is your blog, Alec?
On the Millennial on Tumblr.
All right.
All right. Thank you for listening.